It was a hot, hot day in July. It had been hot all day. It had been hot for several days, and I had no air conditioning. I really knew it was hot when I walked into my dining room and I noticed the candles on my dining room table were starting to curve. It was hot. It was the evening, and I decided that maybe I could get a little breeze down by the water. So I got in my car and I went to the local marina, less than half a mile from my house. They had recently restored it, and it was beautiful. The pier was lovely, the pillars were all new, the parking spaces, the asphalt was smooth, the lines were clear where you could park. The area where there was a small beach was still full of mothers underneath brightly colored umbrellas, their children still wading in the water, almost past their bedtime. The sun was hanging there in the sky, almost refusing to give up its domination of the day. It just hung there. A haze around it, the heat still pouring off of it, and there I was at the marina. There was a little breeze. I got out of my car and I went over to one of the lovely new park benches, and I noticed a lot of people were there. Families, each one kind of surrounded by a group of pillars. Some families seem to have taken control of 3 pillars, some of 6. One very large family had actually 9 pillars that they were in control of. Some families were leaving, some were coming. I noticed each family had a plastic bucket that was once filled with things that probably made up their home: grout, spackle, paint. Someone was carrying a long pole with a net at the end of it. There were children in diapers and grandfathers with canes. There were mothers and aunts and uncles. There were radios playing music from the Spanish stations, not each one tuned to the same station. And the music made a rhythm that made you want to dance. One man on a tricycle with a huge radio in the back bucket of the tricycle. His radio station was dominant, and as it pedaled back and forth, sometimes it blended with the radio of one family. Another time it made music that was dissonant to the family's radio there. I noticed one member of the family was in control of a pillar. There would be a string tied around it. And at the end of that string was a piece of chicken. A chicken leg. One family had a full chicken leg and thigh. I thought, wow, when we went crabbing when I was little, we used chicken necks. Even the crabs now get to eat more gourmet than we did in my time. My family was Italian. We didn't have a radio. My father sang. Oh, sol mio, oh, star of night. Or, Mama love mambo, Papa love mambo, see them sway. My favorite was Sentimental Journey. Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna take a journey home. I would allow my little sister to chime in with, I gotta go home. I gotta go home. that's all I would let her say. There would be my father and my Uncle Joey, my Uncle Tony, my mother, my Aunt Betty, my grandpa, who would sit and just keep an eye on making sure the little ones didn't fall in the water, just like these grandpas were, and these aunts and uncles. Slowly, someone would pull in the string, hoping that there would be a crab on the end, pull it up, and the person with the long pole and the net would scoop up the crab and put it in that plastic bucket. Sometimes he'd miss and the crab would be on the ground. And you could see people, just like we did, scurrying away from the crab who was trying to get back to the water, walking sideways. The little kids would squeal. Someone brave would bend over and grab the crab by the back so the pincers didn't get him. I could remember when the bucket was full for us, and our bucket was an old peach basket. We would go home. My mother would start a big pot of water. We would clear off the dining room table and put about 2 inches of newspapers on it. And everyone would gather around. When the crabs came out of the water, and now they were bright red, all of us would slowly take them out of the shell. That little tiny piece of meat that you worked so hard to get was so sweet. Someone would crack a claw and give it to even the youngest child. We would be at that table for hours, laughing, cracking, rolling up wet newspaper as it got all soggy, waiting for a new layer, boiling more crabs, eating. Sometimes the littlest ones would get so tired after their day in the sea and the sun that they would fall asleep right at the table, waking up with newsprint on their cheek. My family went crabbing. The family now going crabbing were from a different place and sang different songs. And that night I stopped and got a crab cake at the store and went home and made it for dinner. It wasn't quite the same. I really wish that one of those families I had been brave enough to just say, hello, my name is Pam, but you can call me Tia Pam if you want, as long as I can come home while you boil the crabs. And I'll even help spread the newspaper. Because my memory was no different than the memories they were making on that hot, hot July